Hello friends and welcome back to our channel Banking and Business Updates. Friends, as we had informed you in our last video, the meeting between the IBA and UFBU was set for October 26, 2025 to talk about all those unresolved issues. Friends, this meeting finished right on time, and after that All India Bank Officer Confederation General Secretary Mr. Rupam Roy has given full information to his members through circular number 38 dated 27th September 2025. So friends, let's go through the circular and find out what information he is sharing with the members. Friends, in the very first paragraph, they have written about the strike notice they gave way back on the March 5, 2024. They have written that further to the strike notice served by us on IBA on 5th March 2024, there have been few rounds of conciliation proceedings held by the Chief Labour Commissioner, Ministry of Labour, Government of India. Various issues raised by us in this strike notice have been under discussion during the conciliation meetings, and the details have also been periodically informed to our members. Now, stop and think friends, this served as strike notice so long ago, but what happened? They had to keep going for conciliation meetings with the government's labour ministry. They claim all the issues they raised are under discussion, but are these discussions actually making any difference? The fact that these issues are still under discussion nearly 2 years after a strike notice, isn't that a big worry? What is real progress here? We are just asking this. So friends, moving further, in the next paragraph of this circular, they have mentioned the very important issue they have fought for. Yes, the circular clearly mentioned it is performance linked incentive PLI. Friends, think about this. The union and the bank sat down, they agreed on a scheme, they signed a document, but then the government comes and says, no, the scheme for skill 4 officers and above will be completely different. How can this happen? Why did they sign the original agreement if the government can just change the rules later? It seems like what was promised in bipartite settlement is not what is being delivered. And this is the kind of system that leaves the member feeling completely cheated, isn't it? Friends, in the next paragraph of the circular, it is written that in the last round of conciliation meeting held on 11th August 2025, the CLC advised the unions and IBA to discuss the issue bilaterally and submit the views so that the same be taken up for consideration by the government. Now friends, here comes the very funny part. Just think about the reality here. The CLC, which is supposed to resolve the fight, just told them to go and talk again. They have been fighting since March 2024. Isn't this just a way to delay the decision? The ball is simply being passed back from the government's court to the bank's court. This shows us that even after so many meetings, the government is still not ready to take a clear stand on the members' pay and incentives. Friends, क्या आपको नहीं लगता कि ये सिर्फ टाइम पास हो रहा है? Moving to the next paragraph, it is written that accordingly IBA had invited UFBU for discussion today. After a lot of discussion, we submitted that while the government's PLI formula may be implemented for the top management with certain modification on the quantum of PLI, it should be ensured that no one should be denied of PLI, as is payable under the bilateral PLI scheme applicable to the employees and officers. Friends, in simple words, the union is saying, give the new government scheme to the top bosses if you must, but don't cut the money of the other officers. Everyone must get at least what was originally agreed upon in our signed contract. Friends, it didn't stop there. The union didn't just fight to save the existing PLI money, they also pushed for an increase. The circular states, we have also suggested that the existing quantum of PLI as per scheme available under the settlement should be adequately improved upon. They are demanding a raise on the incentive they are already getting. Now, what was the IBA's answer to all these demands? Did they agree? Did they sign the dotted lines? No friends, they did not. The circular says, the IBA agreed that these important suggestions will be duly communicated to the Chief Labour Commissioner and Department of Financial Services. So, the IBA has essentially become a postman here. They have just agreed to forward the union suggestion to the government again. They said they will communicate these suggestions for consideration and further discussion so that the issues can be amicably and bilaterally resolved. Friends, if you notice the pattern, this is exactly what happened before. The CLC told them to discuss, they discussed, and now the IBA is telling the CLC and DFS to discuss again. It is a never-ending cycle of further discussion and considerations that seems designed to delay any real financial benefits to the members. Friends, is this real progress or just more a time pass? In the next paragraph, it is written that issue will be further discussed in the ensuing conciliation meetings with CLC on 15th October 2025. This raises a very big question we are left with, and the question every member must ask. Will the discussion on October 15th finally bring a solution, or will the file just be forwarded again for another further discussion? Alright friends, now let's look at the list of other important issues the union raised. This is basically the list of demands that directly affects our daily lives in the bank. They are calling this list other issues raised by us during the discussion today. First and most important is the early introduction of 5-day banking. We have been hearing about this for ages. The question is, how much more early can early be when we are already in late 2025 and still waiting? Friends, the other important welfare issues are finalizing the details of leave bank scheme, implementation of as gratia in all private banks, exemption of GST on group medical insurance premium, option for remaining employees, officers, retirees to join pension schemes, uniform DA rates for all pensioners at 8,088 points, exemption of income tax on additional 4% of NPS contribution, increase in ceiling on gratuity under the Act, recruitment of sub-staff and armed guards, advisory to banks to advise zonal regional manager not to use abusive language on branch manager and other during meetings. And friends, listen to this last point carefully. Advisory to banks to advise zonal regional manager not to use abusive language on branch manager other during meetings. Friends, think about that. The situation is so bad that the union had to formally raise a point in a conciliation meeting just to stop senior managers from using abusive language. This shows the immense pressure and the toxic work environment that many officers are facing daily. It is a sad reality check on the banking sector today. So friends, before the General Secretary signs off, there are two important points specifically for our retiree friends and their benefits. First, regarding the group medical insurance policy for retirees, the circular states that the IB informed they have taken up the issue of income tax exemption on the premium with the DFS, CBT and GST Council. This is good news. The IBA is actually doing something by taking this to the tax and finance departments. But remember, this is still the taken up stage. The tax exemption on the premium is a huge relief for retirees, and we hope the government moves this file fast. And the very last point in the circular is a clarification on the group medical insurance scheme for retirees. They are talking about a new feature, the add-on facility, to include a dependent physically or mentally challenged family member. The circular mutually clarifies that this new add-on facility will be applicable only to the children of retirees. Matlab, if you have a challenged family member who is not your child, this new add-on facility might not cover them according to this clarification. So friends, in the end of circular, what did we learn? We saw a lot of crucial issues raised, from saving our PLI money and demanding 5-day banking to the shocking need to ask senior managers to stop using abusive language. But what was the final outcome? The IBA agreed to forward the file to the DFS, and all major demands have been pushed to the next conciliation meeting on October 15th. Friends, progress is moving at a snail's pace. It seems the members are caught in a cycle of endless discussion while the pressure and workload keep increasing. What are you feeling after reading this circular? Do you think the IBA and government are serious about resolving these issues quickly, or are these just tactics to delay the benefits? Friend, let us know your strong opinion in the comment below. Friends, if you liked the information, please like and share this with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe the channel. So that's all for today. We will see you in the next video with more such updates. Till then, take care.